Okay, we are. Okay, guys, we're live. Okay. Hi, Janvi. Thanks for joining this webinar today. We will take some time and then go. Uh, we will start with our webinar so that people get some time to join our webinar. And welcome to this session. And mainly, the aim is to, uh, make you speak to our community so that you bring out your experiences about how you cleared your CISSP in a very, very short time. Right. So I will just take a few seconds because it takes around 20 seconds. There's a 20-second delay, and we'll wait for people to join so that they get that time. Right. So let's let people join, and then we will.
Right. Sir.
Right. 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 So
Thank you so much, sir, for the wonderful introduction. And we'll wait for people to join in, then I can share my views.
yeah, we'll just take like 2 minutes, and we'll wait for the count to increase. And so now I've changed the caption from CISSP preparation to CISSP war room, right?
Yes, I can see that.
Because in my experience, I see people from the forces background are finding it, I'll not say easy, but they are very targeted in their approach, and how that targeted approach helps in clearing CISSP very easily. So that's the foresight I would like to bring in for everyone who's going to attend the webinar today, and tell them that how we in the armed forces set a target and just go for it, right? And we'll just wait
Definitely.
for a few minutes. There are people joining right now, and uh, so that they don't miss out on your experience, right? So how I will start is I'll discuss a little bit about your background without going too much into revealing our operational secrets. We just give you a slight background of yours, and let people understand how you said what was the reason for you to uh, start with CISSP as a certification when you were transitioning into your from your Air Force career to career in the outside world. Right. So let's start. People have started joining. There's decent amount of people right now. So good evening, everyone. I'm Colonel Subhajeet Naha, retired from Indian Army, and many of you would be knowing me. For those who don't know me, over the last 3 years after I retired from the Army, I've taken on this mission to train almost 1 million people. That's the aim. We have achieved more than 2,000 in last 3 years, above 2,000, right? And that's a substantial number. I'm happy that we have been able to achieve that target. And the, the aim was to introduce CISSP in a major way to the Indian community, and I think I've been successful in last 3 years. A lot of people have enrolled, have passed, and we have made some mark into the information security industry and the cyber security industry. So, without much delay, what I will do is I'll welcome today Wing Commander Janvi Thakur, right? I'm sorry,
Yes.
yeah, Wing Commander Janvi Thakur, who has cleared CISSP in a very short time, right? And Janvi comes from the forces background, and she, though, is a technical officer, but I won't say that either me. I will say, since I was in the networks and primarily I had a lot of hands-on experience compared to probably my background, Janvi. I will take it that you are not so hands-on technically. Now, that's one question which always comes in, sir, that I was not in the technical background and should I be doing CISSP? Now, without further ado and without taking too much of your time, Janvi, over to you, Janvi. I would like to ask you what's your background, what uh, compelled you to do CISSP. I remember the first time you gave a call and you were so hesitant, sir. Is it meant for me? Is it something that I'll be able to do? I'm not technical. I'm not. I don't know. You are so technical. I can't deal with it. And what I saw, the transformation which I saw once you took, once we attended the classes, you took the training, and then I saw you evolving into that person who you know took on challenges, kept on growing your I will say horizons, and you cracked the exam, not in a very long time. So I would like to know what worked for you and what is the suggestion you would like to give to this audience as to how to crack CISSP. Over to you, Janvi.
Thank you so much, sir. Very good evening to everyone attending this webinar. So, as sir mentioned, I have retired from the Indian Air Force this year itself, and since past 1 year, I was contemplating whether to go for CISSP or CISA or CISM, because in all the job descriptions that you read, all three certifications are given in just with a separation of a comma, whether it is the role of auditing, whether it is a cybersecurity manager role, whether it is a any managerial role or any technical role or any auditing role. These three certifications would just pop up right there in the JD that they are preferred qualifications. But when I took a deep dive into these certifications, I found that CISSP was the gold standard of all. And as sir mentioned, that the first call that I gave him was in the month of November. I came to know about sir from one of the veteran network only, and I gave a call to sir that sir, I am not even from computers background. I am an instrumentation and control engineer. And the only positive affirmation, the first affirmation that sir could give me was there are high demands in IoT and OT security, and we do not have engineers who are CISSP qualified who can understand with the advent of IoT technologies that are happening. And that's what clicked me, that yes, as an instrumentation engineer and with this certificate in my bag, I can give forward to the community, and I can gain insights also with this certification. So I started the training with sir on 19th of January. The batch started, and literally, when I say that I was not from any technical background, so I would say that I am not a software developer. Okay, I have experience in auditing, I have experience in risk management, but the risk management that we do in armed forces is uh, quite different from what business perspectives have. I would request sir to also pitch in the insight with respect to what I'm saying, if there is anything different that I'm bringing. Yes, we have that acumen, we have that mindset that we can identify the risk, we can identify the mitigation. So we do not need to build that mindset as far as risk analysis goes, or mitigating the control goes, or identifying those controls whether they are being implemented. uh, we have that analytical bent, I would say, and that's what sir's training also helped me enhance in thinking that way. Because and one of the, I would say, very much best advice that I would like to mention to everyone in the audience is, every single time whenever we used to ask sir that sir, this is the stage that we are at, he would just say stick to cybex. This were his words, quote unquote, stick to cybex. And that is what I did in 87 days. I did not read any other material. I would not say I was scared when I was giving the exam, because there are plethora of material available. There are abundant YouTube videos, there are abundant material that are available, and you would literally feel that I have not read this, I have not read that. But I just went with one golden advice that sir said, stick to cybex, and I stuck to it. I did not see any material other than that 1800 pages of cybex. And yes, that is what something I
So,
would say that
so
helped.
Janvi, yeah, yeah, definitely. Cybex, it's not about me, it's about you, right? So, of course, I, being a mentor, will of course give my insight, because when I gave my exam, once I gave my exam, I said I shouldn't have seen anything else other than Cybex. Did you think so? Did you feel so that I don't think I should have seen anything other than Cybex? Did you feel so?
Sir, yes, sir. Well, Cybex gives you that insights. Exam is a different ball game. The questions you would solve thousands of questions, none of them would be repeated. You wouldn't even feel that this question is something like that. Okay, so that's why I would say that you prepare for 2 years, you would have seen all the material, you would have done all the question bank of boson and quantum and whatever is there on Udemy also. But like exam is different, so your advice to sticking to cybex gave me that confidence, because uh, when I was myself giving the exam also, I was just going through, okay, what's what would I do, elimination of four options that you would have told, that accordingly which one is close by, nearest the of all the four options. So that's why sticking to cybex helped me.
Okay. And how much time did you devote, Janvi, just to understand, with your schedule where you were, I think you were doing a release course, you were
Yes, sir.
traveling so much,
Yes, sir.
commitments while, retiring from the armed forces is a battle altogether. We have to
Yes,
relocate.
sir.
Our spouses are somewhere, our kids are somewhere, right? And with those
Definitely.
challenges, do you think you have to like study 24/7, or is it like a structured study into the iteration model which we have over a period of time, I've been propagating?
Yes, sir. So, sir, initially with you, when we started the training classes, that time I used to dedicatedly give 2 hours every day. Whether I could understand the topic in Cybex or not, I would just give one read through. uh, and then if any doubts in your classes, we would clear it. So that was the first reading that I gave to cybex. The second reading enhanced that concepts. So that is when I felt confident with solving questions also, I could understand. So first reading, I would say dedicatedly, I took first reading 45 to 43 days, and every day 2 hours. On weekends I could gather somewhere around 4 hours or so, but that was all that I could gather, uh, not more than that. And
Right.
in the
Okay.
end, before the exam, just before I the rush comes only once you book the exam.
Mhm.
So once I booked the exam, after that the last 21 days I gave all out. All out means I was studying almost 10 hours.
Great, great, great. Yeah, that's what I did, in my last 10 days, probably. Uh, and I was commanding at that time. So you understand, commanding in an operational area at around 15,000 feet, 650 people under me, and still studying for CISSP, right? With no internet.
That your domain 8 note also says that the first picture, sir, that is there in domain 8
Yeah,
notes, your Cornell notes, in
yeah.
that image description gives that an officer sitting in the valley amongst mountains, and so
You
that
know
was
why? That is inspired from my preparation, because I was completely in Ladakh. Okay,
uh,
I prepared in roughly 45 to 50 days. Okay, I
okay.
started preparing June, July, and August 20th I appeared. Right, roughly 2 months of preparation, and the only thing I had with me was Cybex and nothing else. Okay, and I had no internet. So uh, the challenge was to can't refer to, and when I appeared, other than Thor Peterson, I don't think there was any major material. Today there's a lot of material. In fact, on YouTube I put all my classes, right? People can just go through if they want to do self learning. But that time it was not the scene. Right now, more mentoring, there are so many instructors available, so much of mentoring available. uh, right. So, CISSP done. Now, what's next, Janvi? What do you think? How will you maneuver your career? Do you think it has made a substantial value to your knowledge levels, to your confidence levels, and where you were technically 4 months back and where you stand technically now?
Definitely, sir. Like before giving the exam, also, I have given a few interviews in which I felt that not having this certification did not give me that edge.
Mhm.
Okay, because when we are transitioning from the armed forces to a business scenario, they are not able to, like, I would quote unquote say this one interview with one of the directors of a very well known company. He said that he had an experience of 17 years in this domain itself, and he
Mhm.
said that the breadth of experience that you have, even that I don't have. Okay, because we have done ample amount of projects in our forces, wherein from people management to even event management to even handling um, technical aspects to vendor management to incident management and disaster recovery and BCP is not something that we are supposed to get trained for it. That is like in our blood.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
so
Yeah, so and
this
that's the experience, if you see, that's the experience which I feel, though we do not have too much experience on the software side, but definitely
yes
we have software procurement, because we also procure
yes
software for our work. We
yes
also get the software built, right? And it's a technically enabled force, and what we see outside is what is there in the armed forces, right? Same
definitely
network, same operating systems,
yes
same data center, same technologies. So in my assessment, what I feel today is that there's a huge amount of technical prowess, which comes from armed forces, and of course officers like you, men and women who come from the armed forces will definitely get that value. Thank you, Janvi. Thank you so much. Any other advice you would like to give? We will be more than happy.
stick to cybex.
Right. Thanks, Janvi. Thanks for taking time to share your knowledge. And another thing, I would love to give a small tip to you, Janvi. The world has gone social, and the more you share, the amount of knowledge you will share, you will
Definitely.
get you will get more opportunities, right?
Yes. Yes.
So there's no harm in branding yourself on LinkedIn. There's no harm in sharing what you have learned from your experiences. Go
Yes.
ahead, do a webinar on your channel, people will come, right? That's how it has been for me for last 3 years.
Definitely. Thank you so
And
much, sir.
take care. Best of luck for your career. And if anybody of you can refer Janvi comes from a forces background. She just earned her CISSP. She is a very well qualified officer, very determined. And if you have some vacancy, why not just refer her? She has just been out of her military career for what, 3 days now, Janvi? How many? How much?
Sir, no, 3 months.
3 months now. Okay, and but your job searching has just now started, right? You're
Yes.
based out of
Yes.
Hyderabad right now, and if community can help, more than welcome. Thank you, Janvi. Thank you so much for
Thank
sharing
you,
your
sir.
knowledge.
Thank you so much.
Take care.
Thank you, sir.
Right. So, good evening, everyone, and I welcome you all to today's webinar. And I wanted to start the webinar today with giving a success story from one of our many success stories which have happened over the past, and the 90 days CISSP preparation is working. So it's part of my every month's regimen, where I bring in my every time I bring in something new, and this time I'm welcoming you all to the CISSP War Room. So for those who know me, for those who do not know me, I'm Colonel Subhajeet Naha, retired from the Indian Army, trying to be a mentor in the cyber and information security space. And the aim is to get cracking for CISSP. Now, there's a huge gap in CISSP numbers in the rest of the world and in India. Let me be frank. Now, if you look at the overall numbers of CISSP today, right, US is more than 1 lakh. And the last I knew, India was at 5,000. When I did my CISSP, I was 1,657 person to do CISSP from India. And today that number stands at roughly 5,800. That means in last uh, 6 years, we've had only 4,000 odd people who have cleared CISSP. Whereas compared to US, we are 4 times the population. Therefore, our numbers should be 4 times. And that's what the mission is, to make you enable for CISSP. But why? Why CISSP? Now, I say security has become a very, very important paradigm today. And those, you look at it, two nations, before they go for a war, they attack each other on cyberspace. You know, our good old friend and enemy Pakistan has been launching severe cyber attacks, and the same would be happening from our side to their side. So this is where the world has come into. It's a new world, and where the cyberspace is the present battle space where the battle is on. Right. So my aim today is to basically tell you, I'm not going to take on what is the syllabus. I've done enough webinars on that aspect. What I'm going to tell you today is what are the key points and how to navigate the CISSP preparation journey. Now, as I told you, global pass rates are very, very low. It's almost 1/3. That means out of 100 people, appearing for the exam, only 33% people pass this exam. Now, why is that? Is the exam so tough? Actually, the exam is not tough. uh, Most of you who will go for the exam will go thinking that I'll give the exam like any other certification, whether it was PMP, whether it was CCNA, whether it was CCIE. I just prepared once, did some question dumps, and I'll go this exam and clear it. And you are going to have a shocker of your lifetime. You'll not even understand what is being asked, right? So that's why the global pass rates are low. It's not because the exam is tough, it's because you have not understood the CISSP mindset or the ISC2 mindset, which it expects from you. And that is why CISSP is the gold standard, right? So it covers 8 domains. I know that you all of you know that there are 8 domains in CISSP. You need to cover each and every domain equally. You cannot give a higher valuation to domain 1 or domain 3 and a lower valuation to software development security. You have to pass in all the domains. Any one domain you fail the exam, right? The exam is scenario based. Exam is tuned to catch your weakness. Exam is tuned to check your application capability. Exam is tuned to check your leadership levels. The exam is trying to test your judgment and not memory. So the second mistake which people do is they try to memorize a lot of concepts, and that memory is of no use, right? Because the question and the answer are there in front of you. Why to memorize? So there's no memorization required in this exam. Now, therefore, you should know your enemy. Who's your enemy? The CISSP structure, right? So that's the military way. Always know your enemy, know thy enemy, right? What are you up against? You are up against computer adaptive testing. What is computer adaptive testing? Now, computer adaptive testing is built on locating your weakness. So how it works out is, you're thrown a question and you're checked your basic baseline. Your baseline has been mapped by a pseudo AI system, which is trying to check where your weakness lies. Okay, and after that, it will throw you subsequent question in that particular weakness domain. So it will try to see whether your weakness is very to a very high level, or to a medium level, or to a low level. And therefore the exam adapts to your strengths. More than strengths, it adapts to your weakness. Therefore you need to give equal weightage to all the domains, right? The exam is completely scenario based. You will not find a direct question that what is the port number for web applications running on a particular server, and can you host it on some other port? Nothing technical will be asked, right? What will be asked is, do you understand the basic security mindset that is required to secure a given piece of problem statement from the perspective of confidentiality, integrity, and availability to that particular asset, right? And therefore, you need to understand all the domains, how security meshes around these 8 domains. Now, let me give you this, that when I was preparing for this exam, I never looked at security this way. The moment I cleared my CISSP, today my brain gets tuned into these 8 domains automatically, and I start evaluating risk when I'm serving our clients all over the world. The basic tuning that comes is we immediately fractionalize whether it's a governance issue, whether it's a risk management issue, whether it's an asset issue, whether it's an architecture issue, communication issue, identity and access management issue, testing issue, operations issue, or software issue. It straight away hits you there. I don't have to go and refer anything. I can easily tell that this is a governance problem or this is a software problem, right? And that's what is built upon when you do CISSP, right? And the thing is, of course, you have to master time management. Why you have to master time management is, if you're very well prepared, you can finish this exam within 1 hour, 2 hours, right? But if you are wasting too much of time, you're spending more than 1 minute 20 seconds per question, you are reaching the bandwidth of the exam, right? So always time management will be a critical issue at all times. Very few people are there who fail due to the time management issue. Therefore time management should be a consideration. Now, what is the mindset? What is the mindset you need for CISSP? Understand that you are that guy who is sitting right next to the CEO. Okay, and the CEO does not understand tech. The CEO understands numbers. CEO understands operations. CEO understands EBITDA, EBIT, right? what is the cash flow. That is all what a CEO understands. As a risk advisor, that is what you are expected. You are expected to tell him how information security brings risks to the business, right? And therefore you have to prioritize confidentiality, integrity, and availability from the risk advisor position, and not from a technical position that this firewall is the best, NGFW, Palo Alto, so and so, blah blah blah. No, nobody's bothered about that. What I'm bothered about is, okay, if this firewall is going to be placed, what is the business value being earned out of it? How does it help against regulations? How does it help or reduce the amount of manpower requirement that is there, right? Therefore it's going to check your leadership aspect. It's not going to check your technical aspects. No way, it's not a technical exam. Right. So always prioritize confidentiality, integrity, and availability. Whenever the question comes in front of you, you think, okay, which information security principle does it apply to? Does this question affect confidentiality? Does it affect integrity? Does it affect availability? And then on top of it, what is the risk? And how are you going to mitigate that risk? Right. That's a fundamental thought process which you need to have. Now, in CISSP, the most important asset you have is the people. Let me tell you, security is as good as your people. So therefore, people is more than sign, processes is more than sign tech. So tech in CISSP comes at the end. If your people are not motivated, no matter how good a tech you have, you will never have good security. You might have the best of tech, but if your processes are not well defined, your security will not be taken care of, right? Therefore people will be of higher value than processes, that will have higher value than technology. I know tech people are not going to like this, but security is such a vast domain that you cannot control it with technology. You have to control it with people and processes. And then of course technology is required. Now, whenever questions are thrown to you, you'll have to decode the scenario. It's not looking for a technical solution. If there is a technical solution, you should outrightly give it a last priority, unless it's a straightforward technical question. There are few direct technical questions, right? Maybe, but that would be like 1 to 2%, not more than that. Please understand, it would be a trap if you are asking a technical answer to a question. So do not answer a question technically. Answer a question from the leadership perspective, profit and loss perspective, risk perspective. Right. Now, there are a lot of smart people who fail this exam. I won't be shy of telling this. Now, I'll not name the company. So this is a very, very one of the largest security company, provides all kind of security solutions to the world. Biggest security company. Recently acquired a very big SIEM company. I'm not going to name it, right? And there were few very smart engineers from best of the colleges, IITs, and whatnot. They're the hardest of techies. They are the biggest security engineers, and they were told to do CISSP, and they said we are the biggest champs. They went for the exam. All of them failed. 5 of them all failed, right? And they were hiding their faces. Why? It's not a technical exam, right? You cannot take your personal technical experience to the exam. You have to stick to the cybex. You stick to the terminology which is given in cybex, given in the ISC2's domain, because it's an information security exam. It's not a cyber security technical controls assessment. Okay, always remember that. Don't fall into the tech trap. If you fall into the tech trap, if you go deep dive into the firewall, you'll die. Look at the size of cybex, 1800 pages. There's one small. Can you deep dive? It doesn't expect you to deep dive. Just understand why is it and how does it apply to that scenario, right? Always avoid extreme words. I have always done it like this. I will never do it like this. The moment you say that, you're going to the negative aspect of ISC2, right? You can never be wrong. I can never be wrong. I'm always correct is something which will make you fall into the trap of CISSP failing. Right. So, what are the battlefield hacks? What is the battlefield hack? So, what we do is in battlefield we find out a lot of hacks, right? So, always remember these 5 mantras, right? Domain one is all about how security aligns to the business. What is the risk? Merger, acquisition, business continuity, right? These are important enterprise and security risks to the organization at the top level, at the board level, right? Align yourself to the risk of information, how it aligns to the business, right? Domain 2 is a life cycle concept of assets. Your asset will come into the organization, play their role, and get retired. Even after retirement, they might be a security issue if you do not destroy them. So that's the life cycle concept once you look at domain 2. Domain 3 is about architecture and controls. Right now, this is more control specific, this is more architecture specific, this is more trust and assurance specific. Right, domain 4, it's a wrong thing, it's not identity. Domain 4, communication is the key. Communication, security is the key. Right, domain 5 to 8 is how governance, risk management, incident response comes all into picture. Domain 5 is about identity and access management, so there's a small error in the slide. Right. So how do you train yourself? So as Janvi told you, I gave you a live example. Janvi trained for roughly 2 to 3 hours daily, right? She started the training with me roughly 40 odd days. Uh, she's not from technical background. She comes from an instrumentation background, but the mindset existed because we in armed forces, we deal with security situations on a daily basis, right? We deal with motivation, human factors on a daily basis, and that it comes naturally to us. So 2 to 3 hours of daily studies will get you there. Weekends around 6 to 8 hours will help, right? Once you've understood the concepts, I always say iterate. How do you iterate? First is your book, second is your notes. And you know what I did? I said, okay, notes are a difficult thing to make. Let's make. And the world has become digital. Let's make some digital notes. So I converted all my handwritten notes into digital notes and posted them for free. Ghazal, if you're there, why don't you give the link to our those who do not have my Cornell notes? It's helping people out massively. So just use those notes as your revision notes because you have to get tuned to the topics and how they apply to a given scenario, right? Create a lot of mind maps. Today we have a lot of beautiful mind map tools. Chat GPT, just tell them, I'm giving you the content, make me a mind map. Use the mind maps follow the neuron methodology of your human brain. It will form a small neuron mind map inside your mind, right? Follow a structured battle plan. Whenever we make battle plans, we are very structured. If the D-day is 90 days from here, the execution has to be on the 90th day. That means on the 90th day, I have to attack the enemy. Therefore, the best way of conquering this exam is to book the exam 90 to 100 days from the day you make up your mind. Because if you book the exam, then the pressure will build up. And when the pressure builds up, is the time you actually start working, right? We are humans, right? We are going to work like that, right? Few things which people always ask. I am from non-tech background. Janvi said, I am from non-tech background. I said, fine. Are you an engineer? He said, which field? Instrumentation. I said, great. Jump into CISSP, become a OT security specialist. From after CISSP, I've asked her to do ISA 62443 because she is an instrumentation engineer. Instrumentation engineers understand control systems. And if you understand control systems, then you can bring security and control systems together. So therefore, even if you are from a non-tech background, but you have been into risk based scenarios, whether physical risk based scenarios, technical risk based scenarios, enterprise risk management, it's not necessary that you should be from a very, very technical background. Yes, it does help, but not mandatory, right? I failed once. What now? So what? So what if you have failed? Right? Failures should lead you to success. Failures are the stepping stones to success. So if you failed once, go back, look back, retain your stance, and make out where did I go wrong? Did I just study once? Did I take it loosely? Did I apply? Did I not apply myself? Was I too technical? Right? You have to evaluate that weakness. Where did you fail? So do not give up. If you have failed, now there are better chances of you passing because now you know the enemy very well. You fought the enemy once, and now you should again jump in and kill the enemy, right? How many questions to practice? Depends. There are people who have answered 400 odd questions and passed. There are people who have done 5,000 questions have not passed. So it's got nothing to do with the question. The question here, I will say somewhere around 13 to 1500 to 1800 questions doing Cybex 10th edition, 420 questions behind each chapter, more than enough. Plus add Cybex fourth edition practice test, roughly 1300 questions, more than enough. You do not have to go to boson quantum exams. If your concepts are clear, I'm telling you, this is more than enough. Right. What's the best way to retain concepts? The best way to retain concepts is always iterations. You have to iterate. And how do you iterate? First iteration 45 days, next iteration 20 days, last iteration 20 days, 90 days, exam cleared. Most of my students have passed this way, right? And that iteration is what helps you. So how do you pass? Free CISSP mindset PDF already given right now. Ghazal has already thrown it. It's completely free. Access mentorship programs. There are a lot of mentors, on YouTube, uh, you know, everywhere. We have our own classes running. You should have a community. Community helps. When community is there, what helps is we learn from each other, and it helps. I've been sharing this knowledge for the last 3 years, and it has only helped people. It has not harmed anyone, right? And therefore it's very important to be connected on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is one platform which can change your life. Okay, right. So I am done with today's session. I hope I've been able to motivate you, and uh, if you have any questions, please ask. Thank you. You can type out your questions and we will take it on. We have a lot of uh, people attending the webinar, but I don't see a question yet. Please type it out and I'll be happy to take these questions. So, Ghazal, I think there are no questions this time. Probably we have been, able to uh, take on a lot of questions earlier.
Right.
So, right. So we're starting with our next batch in the next week. Any one of you interested in joining our classes, please feel free to contact us on LinkedIn on our contact details, and we have some great. How can I be so Padmaja Nandan Biswal? How can I be consistent in my studies? So Padmaja, consistency comes with a small practice. I will say, have incremental changes. Don't try to sit down for 2 hours the first day. You'll never be able to. My recommendation is first day you start with 5 minutes. Next day you increase it to 10 minutes. Third day you increase it to 15 minutes. Fourth day increase it to 20, 30, 40, 60. That would be your best way to, increase your tenacity uh, in small increments, right? This is a battle tested procedure. You never become when we joined Indian Military Academy, I could never pick up I couldn't run 5 kilometers in 24 minutes. That was expected, but we did incremental changes, small changes. First day we ran 800 meters. Then after a week we were running 1200, then 1600, then 1800, then 2.4 kilometers, and then by 6 months we were already running 5 kilometers with a rifle and a. So I always say make small incremental changes. Do not try to achieve everything in one go. Second thing is it all depends whether you're a morning person or an evening person. So I'm always a morning person. So what I do is I wake up early in the morning, 4 o'clock. No disturbance from the kids. No one. Everything is silent. I take that time. because that is a time for myself, and that is what I do. So what I can say is just stick to a routine, make incremental changes. Do not try to achieve everything in one go. It won't be possible. Right. Next question I have is from one of the LinkedIn users. Could you please have more insights to planning my CISSP training and exam? What would be the best action plan for me? So the best action plan is the day you decide you want to give the exam, book the exam, right? If you have understood what is the CISSP paradigm like, there's enough content now available. There's no more dearth of information. So if you've done your research, you've done your, you know, you've made up your mind, I will say book the exam. If you feel that you've read the Cybex once, book the exam 90 days from today. If you've not, book the exam 120 days, and then make that 3 tier, uh, you know, iterative model, right? You can go check out my previous uh, sessions on YouTube where I've told how to structure those 90 days. And I don't see why you cannot, because today also on LinkedIn, I saw two attributes to me. So I take it that it has helped. So that's the best action plan. Book the exam. There's nothing better than selecting the target. If you have target, then you can aim your weapon and shoot. Right. Shivaguru says, what is the difference between CISSP and CISA certification? Shivaguru, in today's information security space, there are two major international, certification providers. One is ISC Square, which is based out of US, and other is ISACA, which is also again based out of US. Now, ISACA has uh, three major certifications, which is CISA, Certified Information Systems Auditor, CISM, Certified Information Systems Manager, and C Risk, which is Certified Risk, Professional, right? So C Risk is for risk professionals. Now CISA tells you how to audit information systems, how to audit, right? What are the complete processes involved behind auditing information systems for security aspects. It's an information systems audit course. Whereas CISSP is information systems security professional. You are someone who helps an organization to understand information security. You become, I will not, don't compare yourself with a cybersecurity manager, but most of the times today, cybersecurity, information security is spoken interrelated. CISSP is a completely different certification. It's a base forming certification, which helps you in decide where do you want to take your career to. So if you are confused between CISSP and CISA, what I will recommend is to do CISSP and next year target for CISA and CISM if you want to. Now most of the people like me, once we did CISSP, we knew what CISA is all about, but we didn't take the certification. But I was very clear that I will only teach CISSP and nothing else. There are many people who teach on 10 certifications. So I'm not saying there's anything bad in that. What I'm trying to say is, if you know what you want in your career, if you are an auditor, if you are specifically an auditor and you would like to take if you would like to take your career into the audit space, go for CISA, definitely. But after you do CISA, you will still be required to do CISSP. There's no escape. Let me be very frank. If not today, tomorrow, maybe 5 years down the line, you will come back and say, sir, I want to do CISSP. So in my experience, in from what you can see today, it's better to do CISSP and kill CISSP first, so that uh, CISA becomes a little redundant, right? Where do we get preparation material? Preparation material, there are two major books, right? One is uh, Cybex 10th edition practice test. It's available on Amazon. You can go and purchase it. It's for roughly INR, I'll say USD, roughly 200, less than $200, 159 odd dollars, right? Roughly around 3,700 on Amazon. And there is Cybex 4th edition practice test, which comes bundled on Amazon for roughly around 5,700 rupees, which is approximately not $150. Sorry, I'm mistaken. 5 8 40, roughly 70 $80 you will have to spend on Amazon to buy those two books, right? And rest all material is for free. To be frank, I've made my notes. They are for free. You can just go on my LinkedIn previous post and download them. Do you recommend the book recommend to book the exam with peace of mind offer. I somehow, Ritesh, take peace of mind as a little regressive thought process. But a lot of people say, sir, we are going to spend roughly $1,000 to prepare for this exam, spending another 150 bucks as an insurance. It's a risk transfer which you are doing, that you're taking that I might fail in this exam. So why should you, take a chance and buy that? So most of the students today are buying it. IST2 earns a handsome amount of money from that, right? So in my personal opinion, I will not say you do it, but in case I was in your place, I would have been a student who was scared of losing. So I will do a little risk mitigation and buy it. I hope, Ritesh, you got the answer. Okay, there's no harm. Means what I'm saying is, well, if ISA2 is giving that offer, 1 in 10 chances you might fail, and then you will say, "Oh, I didn't book the exam. Now I have to spend 70,000 more." So let's mitigate that risk and buy the peace of mind offer. Squad leader Vagisha says, "How do defense officers match their experience with CISSP domains?" Uh, uh, Vagisha, I don't know whether you come from the tech background, non-tech background, flying background. I have no insight into that. So, domain one, all officers, all arms, all officers, all armed services. Okay, domain one definitely, domain two definitely, domain 3 for technical officers, domain 4 for technical and communication branch officer, domain 5 again everyone, we all deal with identity and access management, domain 6 security operations, again all armed forces officers, men, uh, the warranted ranks, everyone deals with security operation. Audit, we all deal with testing, security testing, we all deal with. uh, Domain 8 is something which probably doesn't align with someone who has not uh, you know been into software procurements, right? So there a specified arm or services would gain a little bit of edge. Right. So next question is by Jason. Jason says, "Can you explain iterations a bit more, please?" Yes, Jason. So my iteration system is very clear. You read domain, you read Cybex. Each chapter, there are 21 chapters. It takes you roughly 45 days. So you read domain one takes you 1 week. Domain two takes 1 day. Domain three takes 1 week. Domain four takes roughly 1 week. Domain five takes 2 days. Domain six takes 1 day. Domain seven takes 3 days. Domain eight takes 4 days. So this is roughly 40 days schedule. You read the chapter, you give the exam, you give the chapter end questions in Cybex 10th edition. You note down what is your strength and what is your weakness. Strength, if you know the strength, weakness, opportunities, concept, then weaknesses is what you're trying to identify, because CISSP is trying to identify your weakness. So you should take a premature move and try to identify weakness yourself, and the weakness will come out from your uh, the chapter end questions which you do. Right now, first iteration done, the second iteration is where you now focus more on your weakness and less on your strengths. Okay, and once you do your second iteration of study from Cybex, from my notes, from your own personal notes, after the second iteration, what you do is you give the Cybex fourth edition practice test, which is 800 questions of 100 questions in each domain, and roughly another 500 questions from across the domain. Right, once you do that, now you will see your strength areas will increase, your weakness areas will reduce. And if you're consistently scoring above 75 to 80% in Cybex fourth edition, it's a rough indicator that okay, you're there, and now you're just 30 days away from the exam. So now those 30 days is going to be now a more concentrated iteration where you do more questions, you clear out your weakness areas, and then you finally attempt the exam. So these are the three iterations I talk about. Next question is by Imad Edin Ozani. I'm preparing for the GICSP and CISSP exams. Are you taking it together? Can I take them at the same time, or will it be difficult? It will be very difficult, Imad. GICSP, of course, is aligned a little bit with CISSP, but GICSP and CISSP tackling together will be a difficult circumstance for you. Uh, I won't say it is impossible. Nothing is impossible in this world, but it will be a difficult circumstance, right? Unless you are well aware with the CISSP domains, right? I've seen the GICSP syllabus, it's slightly easier than CISSP. So my recommendation is tackle CISSP first and then tackle GICSP. Right? You can't run 1,000 miles, but you can run a mile 1,000 times. Yes, definitely, Jason. Definitely. Yeah, Vagisha. So if you are from technical background, you understand. Okay. Any other questions? I hope I've been able to answer your questions to your satisfaction. Definitely, Jason. I'll remember this sentence of yours. You can't run 1,000 miles, but you can definitely run a mile 1,000 times. Right. So next batch is starting, I think, coming weekend. It's going to be a morning India batch time, 7 a.m. to 11 a.m. India time, US Pacific time. I'll have to calculate roughly. It will be night time. East Coast, better. West Coast, difficult. Right. I'm done for today. Thank you so much for attending the webinar. It was a great strength, great questions coming in, and I'm always available. You can reach out to me on LinkedIn, on YouTube, on our WhatsApp community, anywhere you feel like. Thank you so much for joining this webinar and being part of the community. Take care. Bye bye, and have a great day.